Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are doing the 11th chapter of Panchadasi, Brahmanandi Yogananda, where Vidyaranya trying to analyze the deep sleep state and shows that every happiness, including in the deep sleep state, is due to Advaita. So how can that be? So in the waking state and the dream state, the deep sleep state appears to be associated with Triputi. That means I am experiencer and this is experience, and the connection between these experiencing. So every experience, I say I am experiencing happiness, I am experiencing this, and so on. So when we indulge in the sense enjoyments, we are gaining happiness. But when you really examine properly, do I say I am experiencing happiness or I am happy? It's more like I am happy than I am experiencing some object called happiness. I may be experiencing an object and in the process I am happy. So what happens actually is me and the object, as though, quote unquote, become one, and in that Advaita where the mind is no more longing, no more wanting, and mind is calm and quiet, and where the pure consciousness beams through as complete and full, and therefore I experience Ananda. So even the Vishayananda, even the objective experience is nothing but Brahmananda only, but reflected only a fraction of a moment depending upon the intensity of the desire that is fulfilled. So even in the waking state and the dream states, the happiness that one gains is not due to any experiential happiness, it is due to one's own experience of Swa-Atma. So in that state of oneness, there is no really experience, and Triputi is not there during that experience, even though we associate that it is due to Triputi. But in the deep sleep state, there is no experience, Triputi is not there, but still I am happy. And where the happiness of the Brahmananda is beaming through the reflected through the mind and intellect. So the mind that is folded as a Chidabhasa. So therefore, in that state, there is only oneness, and that's what the statement here, that it is Brahmananda is nothing but this Swapnananda. In the happiness that one gains is due to the absolute happiness that I am. Then the objection goes, says it cannot be, because every experience involves Triputi, and if there is no Triputi in Advaita, there cannot be happiness there. That's the conclusion or an objection by an objector. So therefore in Advaita there cannot be, whereas the teacher says only in Advaita there is a happiness, and the student objects that there cannot be any happiness in the Advaita, because every happiness is involved Triputi. That means this is a triad. Triputi is triad, where there is an experiencer, experience, and experiencing, and there is no experiencer experienced in the deep sleep state. Therefore, there cannot be. There, what is there in the deep sleep state? It's only absence of suffering. So, absence of suffering is as though interpreted as as happiness. It's not real happiness, it is as though absence of this one, because How do you experience this? He says, the teacher says, it is Swayam Prabhaha. It's self-shining. It doesn't need Triputi. It is not of the type of where you need the triad. It is self-shining. Therefore, it is experience. And the student objects to that. It's not really an experience of it. It's only absence of suffering. He says, how do you know that? Because there is essentially, whenever there is the waking state, you have both experience and experience. In that state there is no. Then the teacher asks, how do you know the Advaita? That's the question. Because Dvaita is not there. So what was there before Dvaita came into picture? So it's not an inferential logical statement. It has to be Advaita because there is no Dvaita. So it's not a logical deduction of the experience of Advaita. How do you know there is Advaita? Because I know means what? I experience Advaita. If I experience Advaita without Triputi, that means there is no need of Triputi to experience Advaita. But the student says, I need not experience, I can only infer that there is an Advaita. So he says, how do you infer? Is it by logical deduction? If you do logical deduction, you need to have, according to Indian logic, a drishtanta, an example has to be given. So give me an example on what basis you say that Advaita, there is no, the experience of Advaita is not there, it's only logically Advaita. So logical Advaita is different from experiential Advaita. Logically you cannot deduce Advaita because there is no, you need a drishtanta for everything according to the Indian logic, and we said there is a distant smoke, distant hill, smoke is coming, I say that there is a fire there. Why? Because yatra yatra dhumaha tatra tatra agni. Wherever there is a smoke, there has to be a fire. So that's a logical conclusion because there is a concomitant relation between the smoke and the fire. That's called hetu, the cause, and the conclusion is sadhya, is the fire. And that relation has been established in the past because there was a drishtanta, examples that I could relate to, because in the kitchen, wherever there is a smoke, there was a fire. So based on that, now how do you conclude that there was Advaita before Advaita if you have no example? So obviously there cannot be. It says no example of Laya, I can use it. That means somebody else's sleep, that is Brahmaji's sleep, everything goes, and that's how the creation starts. So before creation there has to be Advaita. So you fellow, you are using somebody else's sleep, why don't you use your own sleep? Because you are going through that experience of sleep anyway, so use that as a basis for establishing there is an Advaita. Because it's a stupidity to talk about other people's sleep which you don't experience. You experience your own sleep, and leaving that you are using some Brahmaji's sleep, and therefore there must be Advaita. So your own sleep experience indicates that there is, in fact, and because it is absence of suffering itself is the expression of the happiness there. Then the student says, even the mud and the stones also, there is an absence of suffering. So you think I can conclude that they are happy? So the teacher says, where the presence of suffering or the absence of suffering can be inferred by their expression in the face. So if I look at somebody's face, I know he's happy or he's unhappy because his face shows up. And so the anubhava of the suffering is expressible in the gross elements. That's what is a inference is. So if the stones and the mud are happy and unhappy, then they will show up in their gross expressions. But you don't see anything. So that kind of thing cannot be that argument. So one has to experience the absence of suffering, and that is experienced how? Because it is Swayam experience. It is, you don't need a triad in order to experience the absence of suffering and therefore presence of the happiness also. So that's what essentially is conclusion here. So Dainya Mukadainya Vikasabhyam in the 36th sloka, he said Mukadainya Vikasabhyam Paradukka Sukhahanam. So Dainyadya Bhavato Loshte Dukha Nyuhana Sambhavet. So in the losha, in the mud, you cannot see expressions of happiness and suffering by looking at it. Whereas in the people, you see that whether they are happy or unhappy. So you need a living entity to express happiness and unhappiness. Now we go to 37. Swakiye sukha dukkhetu, swakiye sukha dukkhetu, no haniye tatastayoho, no haniye tatastayoho, bhavo vejyonubhutyaiva, bhavo vejyonubhutyaiva, tadabhavopi nanyatha, tadabhavopi nanyataha. Together, Swakiye sukha dukkhestu, sohaniye tatastayoho, bhavo vejyonubhutyaiva, tadabhavopi nanyataha. So, Swakiye sukha dukkhe. So, in Swakiye sukha dukkams. So, one's own sukham and dukkam, indeed, too. Now, Uhaniye, it's not inferred. I don't infer that I am happy, and I can infer other people are happy or not by looking at their face. But about me, I don't have to look at my face to say I am happy and I am crying. I know I am happy, I know I am unhappy, and therefore it is not an inferential statement, but it is an experiential statement. Swakiye sukha dukkha, na uhaniye, it's not by uha, that means it's not by inference. Tadaha tayoho, so therefore the presence or absence of the suffering or the happiness is bhavaha, tat abhavaha, their presence or absence, api anubhutya eva. Therefore, it is experience, but without having a triad, without having an experience or experiencing. I am experiencing the happiness. It is because of, it's not a logical deduction. It is the expression of that, either the absence of suffering or the presence of the pure consciousness, that is Brahmananda. So, na anyatha, it is not by inferential statement or by any other pramana, it is experience, therefore it is direct and immediate also. We'll do 38. Tata sati swasupte cha, tata sati swasupte cha, dukkha bhavo no bhutitaha, dukkha bhavo no bhutitaha, virodhi dukkha rahichyat, virodhi dukkha rahichyat, sukha nirvigna mishyutam, sukha nirvigna mishyatam, sukha nirvigna mishyatam, sukham nirvigna mishyatam. Together. Tatha sati swasupto cha, dukkha bhavo nubhutitaha, virodhi dukkha rahichyat, sukham nirvigna mishyutam. So tatha sati, so having accepted this, that one experiences and not by triad, it is Swayam experience, that means it is Swayam Prabha. It shines itself luminous. The experience of happiness is self luminous. So it doesn't need the triad here. So Tadha Sati, having accepted this, Swasupto, in its own deep sleep state, Dukkha Abhavaha, the absence of Dukkham, Anubhutitaha, is directly experienced without having a triad, without having a experience or experiencing. Divisions are not there in the deep sleep state, and even that, without that, it is experience. So virodhi dukkharahichyam, so absence of the opposite of the dukkham, the absence of the opposite of the suffering. So that is absence or presence of joy. Nirvignam Sukham Ishyatam is unobstructed joy should be accepted. So here Ishyatam, it has to be accepted because of the continuous absence of dukkham in the deep sleep state. Therefore, continuous presence of the Brahmananda has to be accepted. Why? Because it is not related to any experience or experience type in the deep sleep state. So who knows that I am happy in the deep sleep state? So I don't need to know in that sense. It is self-revealing, it reveals itself, and therefore it's revealed as the absence of suffering, and that's why everybody wants to go to sleep. It's obvious, but here it is analyzed that even by analyzing in the waking state about deep sleep state, that one is happy, therefore one is with Brahman only. So the Ahankara is not there in the deep sleep state. So what happened to Ahankara? Ahankara involves, that is Ahankara is ego, is equal to I am this. That is a notion that comes as the Vikshepa, that is by projection that I am this. But in the deep sleep state, Karana Sarira, there is no Vikshepa, it's only ignorance covering the mind's knowledge as well as ignorance. What is covering? Not the Brahman. Brahman cannot be covered, it is infinite. So what's covering is the knowledge of that I am this, or I am even Jivan Mukta is covered by the mind is folded. Therefore, as though no notions at the mind level appears. So what is there in the deep sleep state? Therefore, it is a calm, quiet mind without any perturbations, and that mind is only reflecting completely the pure consciousness. Therefore, it's existent, and also it is happiness, and therefore it is experienced because the experience is being felt as though it is self-shining or self-revealing experience is being felt, and it is not of the Triputi type, and this we have to conclude from the analysis. Therefore, here is going to say, who experiences deep sleep state and happiness without the sadhanani, without the instruments of experience? That's a question. I do not have the instruments, that means the mind and intellect are folded. Then who experiences is the question that was being posed, and therefore here the statement is being analyzed that it is self-experiencing. Sir, you experience is for going to sleep, you are making a beautiful bed, soft Dunlop bed, you want air condition, you want to light off, all those conducive environments and sadhanas are there to prepare you for sleep. Therefore, that is the one you are enjoying. That's what one objection is here in the 39. Mahattara prayasena mrudusayyadi sadhanam kutaha sampadjate suptau sukham chetatra no bhavet together. Mahattara prayasena mrudusayyadi sadhanam kutaha sampadjate suptau sukham chetatra no bhavet. So here another doubt is expressed. It says, why do you need, if I am going to experience the happiness in the deep sleep state, why do I need all these Dunlop bed and proper pillow, soft pillow or softer in between, all these things plus AC room and all mosquito curtains, every other preparation for what? So that I can be happily sleeping. So happiness is coming from what? From all these things are also. If I can get happy without all these things, without sadharani, then why do you need all these things? That was a question that was imposed here. The answer is given in this point. Student raises another doubt here. So next sloka. Dukkhanaasarthamevaitad. Dukkhanaasarthamevaitad. Iti chet roginastada. Iti chet roginastada. So bhavatvaroginastvetad. Bhavatvaroginastvetad. Sukhayaiveti nischanum. Sukhayaiveti nischanum. Dukkhanaasarthamevaitad. Iti chet roginastada. Bhavatvaroginastvetad. Sukhayaiveti nischanum. So this teacher says that you are saying that because I have all this soft bed and all the requirements, that is the one that you are enjoying in the deep sleep state. They are sadhanas. He says they are not for that. He says Dukkanashartham, for removing the suffering. Etad iti, all these things that you have mentioned, that means the soft bed and all that. Iti Dukkanashartham, for the removal of suffering. Iti ched, if that is so, agree it's for roginaha, for a rogi, for the one who is having a problems to sleep, he needs a soft bed. There is no question about it. Tata, it can be bhavatu, accepted. So, but aroginaha etad sukhaya eva iti nischanum. But you cannot say that even who is very healthy and not having a problem, you need all this in order for him to sleep and he may use it, but you don't say that he is happy because of that. He is happy even without, because he doesn't have any problems, and he is happy without there also. He can sleep and then comfortably. Therefore, for a rogi, he may not be able to sleep unless he has a soft bed. Rogi or ragi also, one who has used to it. As we mentioned once in the Banaras Hindu University inauguration time, at that time, Gurudev used to say that they invited some Swami from Himalayas, and because for him to inaugurate, and they had to make an accommodation, so he has put in a big 5-star hotel so that Swami is comfortable. And when he enters into the room and he looks at, there's a big beautiful bed all arranged for him, and he says, how can I sleep on that? Say, what's the problem? They were wondering what to do. Say, I cannot sleep on the bed. I need the Krishnanjaram and so on, the skin of the tiger or whatever, or the deer, for me to sleep. Okay, I'm used to that. So what's the difference between him and a samsari? One, if I need that only to sleep, then he is almost like a rogi, because rogi wants something and he wants another type of. So that's called the ragi, means the one who has ragam. So we're not criticizing that, but basically a Mahatma, what does he do? He sleeps if it is comfortable. If it is comfortable available, he sleeps. He doesn't have to avoid it. So sleeping in a comfortable is not a anti jnanam. So jnani doesn't have to withdraw himself from somebody. So someone is having, says, 2 friends. So they decided to withdraw themselves from the normal routine life and concentrate on that. So one took sannyasa, the other one is still in the grahastha. He was taking care of the whatever that is required, but still his mind was reveling in that. So this sannyasi came, he says, you are supposed to renounce all this, you are still here and you want to renounce, and why are you still having attachment to this? He says, okay, what do you want me to do? So let's go. Okay, let's go. He is ready to go. No, let me go and get my kamandala, my this and that. I cannot go without this. So the sannyasi is more attached than the grihastha. Sannyasi is tyagainaike amrutatva manasu. Only by renunciation you can get this one. What do you have to renounce? Renouncing both the anuraga and the dvesha also. Both the likes and dislikes I had to neutralize. Neutralize means if they come, if they go, I do not depend on them for my happiness. That's what is the dependency has to be renounced. But how do you know you depend on that? One fellow said, I don't depend on coffee for my happiness. because he is getting 40 cups every day. So only way to know it is not to have it. When they don't have it, then I am still equanimity, balance, whether I have coffee or I don't have a coffee, then you are really real sannyasi of the coffee itself. So just for a heck of it. So dukkha nashartham is, for a rogi it's important, for arogi who is a healthy person, this is not a sadhana, this is not a means for him to get happiness. He wants to get happiness in the deep sleep state, not for this sake, because he wants to revel in the deep sleep state where he has no other problems. So 41. Tarhi sadha janyatvat tarhi sadha janyatvat sukham vaishayikam bhavet vaishayikam bhave bhavattvevatra nidrayaha bhavattvevatra nidrayaha purvam sayyasanadijam tarhi sadha janyatva sukham vaishayikam bhave bhavattvevatra nidrayaha purvam sayyasanadijam. Tarhi means in that case sukham sadhana janyata. In this case where you say I need this, I need that for me, in this case the sukham, the happiness is originated by sadhana, by the instruments like soft bed, air condition, light. All those things are conducive or helpful for getting happiness. So sadhana janyam. So they have instruments. They are not giving happiness. They are instruments to get happiness. Sadhana janyatva sukham vaishayikam bhaved. So therefore we consider the happiness is object oriented. That means it depends upon having the object or not having the object. So it is objective happiness. Bhaved. It can be classified as the where you have the sadhana, therefore the triputi will be there in that happiness. And is bhaved, is assumed. Atra, in the present context, nidrayaha purvam, this is before getting into sleep, before one sleep, sayyasanadijam, the bliss that the bliss that is originated due to the bed and all that, bhavatu eva, certainly is of objective happiness. So in this case, all that you mentioned are true. What you say is, they are this happiness that one gets by the sadhana in the preparation of that. This is not about deep sleep state, this is only pre-sleep state, so that you can go to deep sleep state. 42. Nidrayantu sukham yattatu nidrayantu sukham yattatu janyate kena hetuna sukha bimukadhiradau sukha bimukadhiradau paschad majjeta pare sukhe together, nidrayantu sukham yattatu janyate kena hetuna sukha bimukadhiradau paschad majjeta pare sukhe. So nidrayam, in the deep sleep state, to indeed yat sukham, that which is happiness, that kena hetuna, it is by some cause. So all those in the pre is different, but in the deep sleep state, that bliss is what causes their sleep. So if the happiness is born in the deep sleep state, what sadhana is there for causing the happiness? It's not an objective happiness, it is the very nature of that in the deep sleep state. So one becomes the happy oriented, paschat, afterwards, pare sukhi, in the supreme bliss, majjid, one get absorbed in that. Even though other ingredients are helpful to go there, once he goes there, the happiness is not oriented or related to any of the sadhanas. It is pure Brahmananda is being reflected because the mind is calm and quiet. Therefore, it is in the state of equilibrium where the pure consciousness is expressing itself as pure bliss itself. So, in the Supreme Self, Paresukhi, Majjad, one get absorbed into deep sleep state. So, happiness during deep sleep state is not of Triputi type. Number one, it's not an experiential type. Number two, and it is self-proven. That means it's self-shining, self-revealing happiness where one is happy and one knows that it is happy, and it's not an inferential sleep, it is an experiential sleep. And that's what is being concluded here in the 42nd sloka. And this thought is taken up in the next two slokas that we will do in the next talk. With this we stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.